Good morning from the flight deck, or good afternoon in the case of the time in the game. Welcome to today's flight from Detroit to Birmingham, Alabama. We're in the Airbus 320. We're going to depart from gate 80. We're going to back up, head over to runway 21 right, and get airborne, cruise on down, and this should be the way that I came into Alabama a few weeks ago. Now, of course, when I landed, it's dark, but we'll try to leave the lights on and make it interesting. So, anyway, we'll leave the live weather on as well. Let's get in here, get started, and get airborne. Hopefully everybody's having a good Tuesday. I do apologize about my outburst yesterday. For whatever reason, I was not having a good day, and I don't know what it was, why that happened, but I shouldn't have snapped during the stream, and I apologize for that. Anyways, let's do this. Oh, we're leaving the weather on. That's right, and we want that. We don't want this just yet. All right, let's get things started up so we can get our IFR clearance.
Detroit Metro Ground, World Air 2377 IFR to Birmingham, ready to copy. World Air 2377 is cleared to Birmingham Airport as filed. Take off runway 21 right climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is 134.3, squawk 2164. World Air 2377 cleared to Birmingham Airport as filed. Take off runway 21 right climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure on 134.3, squawk 2164. World Air 2377 read back correct. Contact ground on 119.25. Good day. Detroit Metro Ground, World Air 2377 with Quebec ready to taxi IFR. World Air 2377 taxi to and hold short of runway 21 right via taxiway Quebec. Quebec 3 Uniform 9er, Uniform Golf, cross runway 9er, left Golf, Victor Mike 6. Contact tower on 128.75 when ready. Taxiing hold short runway 21 right using taxiway Quebec 3 Uniform 9er, Uniform
swing
Golf,
to the
cross
left
runway
there.
9er, left Golf, Victor Mike 6, World Air 2377.
Oh, why is the time not correct? Why are we... Oops, that's not what I wanted. Time. We want that. This. It's supposed to be about 4 something in the evening. We'll just go for 4:30. Should be a nice sunset arrival. Should be. That's close enough. Just noticed that it changed. Alright, let's back up here.
Detroit Metro Ground, World Air 2377 requesting pushback. World Air 2377 pushback request accepted.
The lights on. I think I can have him push me just straight back, because this is, I think this area right here in the middle is considered like the safe area for engine startup, so we can do that there.
Detroit Metro Ground World Air 2377 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the left. World Air 2377, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
Go ahead and get that going.
Detroit Metro Ground World Air 2377 requesting the end of pushback. World Air 2377 request to end pushback received.
There we go. Now I tried to remember where I came into and left out of, and I wish I'd written down the gate numbers, but I didn't. Alright, let's turn this on so he can talk to ATC the rest of the way. Waiting for the engines to stabilize. And then hit this. Close that up. And we'll get a move on. It's going to be quiet today. That's all right. There was a lot of construction going on here at Detroit when I was here a few weeks ago. I think it's like they were kind of doing some repairs to runways or expanding things. I don't know which, but there was it was like you had to go around kind of a crazy way taxiing because of the construction. Nope. 2 days until the Game of the Year edition, and some new planes come out free for us. Really looking forward to getting to go in the F-18. Be nice to have another, hopefully usable fighter jet in the game, just to have some fun. There's our cross one runway. I did fly last night. My first, real quick, for those of you who like snow, we got a little dusting last night. Not a whole lot, but just enough to cover cars and roofs, but nothing else. Yeah, it was quite a surprise when I got up this morning and saw that. So I imagine the northern parts of New York got maybe a little bit more than we did. We usually fare pretty well early on in the winter, and then we may get hit suddenly later on. Yeah, so I flew from from Houston to San Antonio in the A320. I was doing a flight from Pittsburgh to North Carolina to Charlotte. I was starting my descent phase, and ATC said, "Can you see this traffic or report this traffic in sight? Oh, by the way, switch over to this frequency as well." And it never switched the freak after we reported the so I have turned off. We should have a very quiet flight. I'm going to keep the ATC off for the time being, only because that way we get there should be a lot of chatter, and I feel like I'm talking over or not paying attention to things, and I've sometimes missed it. So there won't be a lot of other chatter going on for a while. So we should have a pretty smooth flight, not a lot of, descend and maintain, and like the AI traffic not descending and maintaining or whatever. So I think we're okay. So that'll help. Yeah, it ruined the flight, and you can't. I don't know how to dial in the frequency. I think I figured it out, but I pushed the wrong buttons after going the way I thought I was going. So, anyways. Get ready to come to a stop up here. There are altimeter readings. Oh, I did not check. No. I should have checked the cruise altitude settings. So those of you who are watching on the replay, I'm not going to stream Friday. I'm not going to take any chances. I still got to figure out. I got to call up there to the clinic there in Syracuse and talk to them to find out what's what, and then arrange transportation if I do have to go up there, or if they can do it over the teleconference. So we're just going to not stream Friday. Thursdays, I still don't know what I'm going to do. I'll come up with something. Anyway.
Detroit Metro right Tower World Air 2377 at runway 21 right, ready for departure IFR to Birmingham.
World Air 2377 altimeter 30.131207 at 7. Cleared for takeoff runway 21 right.
Cleared for takeoff runway 21 right, World Air 2377.
That one in, this one in. It always does this. Alright, I think that's it. Let's get out here on the runway and get in the air. Oh, excuse me, I had a sneeze. Good thing I caught that in time. Ooh. Pardon me. Feel congested this morning. Ugh. Sinus congestion, I hate it. Ugh. Oh, one of the other things I noticed too, maybe because it's a smaller jet, but a lot of the times they don't sit at the end of the runway like they used to and brake, put the brakes on and let everything build up. They just turn and go, which I thought was kind of odd. Sufficient enough velocity to get airborne. Let's get the autopilot on.
World Air 2377, contact Detroit Metro, departure on 134 decimal tree. Good day.
Going to 134 decimal tree, World Air 2377. Detroit Metro departure, World Air 2377 is at 2,200 feet, climbing 8,000 feet.
World Air 2377, Detroit Metro departure, altimeter tree 0.1 tree, continue to Sergi as planned.
Okay. Well, there we go. Let's get the flight plan up and running. Should be up to 8,000 here fairly quickly. Let's get our first. Let's get that dialed in. Oh, good morning, Chris. How are you? Welcome. Happy Tuesday to you. You are the first one here. So guess what that means. 16.
Climb and maintain 16,000 feet, World Air 2377.
I'm doing okay. Just was not myself yesterday. I don't know what was happening, and I did, if you watched the replay earlier before we got started, I did apologize for snapping yesterday. I don't know what was going on, but this was not my usual self. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I'm doing okay otherwise.
World Air 2377, contact Cleveland Center on
9.9.5 for World Air 2377. Cleveland Center World Air
We
2377.
got a little dusting
passing
of snow last night.
9,700 feet, climbing
Just enough
16,000
to
feet.
dust the cars and
World Air
rooftops, but
2377 Cleveland
nothing
Center,
else.
altimeter 30.13 continue to Grove as planned.
let's go to 250. Now, I think I understand now why I was having problems once I was flying live weather. We would always turn off the weather. And so, now once we get past, when they say go to flight level, I have to change this to standard. So, that's where I was making a mistake, because I was expecting altimeter readings throughout the flight. But once you go to a flight level, yeah, just a little bit, Chris. I think probably up closer to up to Rochester, New York, they probably got an inch or so, I would imagine, because they're right near the lakes, and that winter is way colder than ours. So, yeah. Now, one of the things you'll notice, folks, we are technically on the path. We are flying technically a bit sideways. See, look at that. We're still on the path, even though the arrow up here, up top, is showing differently. Up here, this one is showing differently. But we are on the flight path. So that's one of the cool features of autopilot and all that. It will technically fly the plane, you know, the direction it needs to go, but we're not, even though it doesn't appear we're going that direction. That's pretty cool. So we should get our next altitude here, I believe. We'll get above the clouds.
377 contact Cleveland Center on 128.625. Good day.
128.625 for World Air 2377. Cleveland Center World Air 2377, 15,800 feet.
World Air 2377 Cleveland Center, altimeter 30.14 continue to Hoods as planned. World Air 2377 climb and maintain flight level 260.
Climb and maintain flight level 260.
All right.
World Air 2377.
260. So once we get above 18,000, flight level 180, I gotta... Oh, come on. I want to make sure that's dialed in so everything is displayed correctly. Alright, so we are on our way to 260, so I'm going to dial in 270. So just to get a little bit more oomph in the engines. And then once we pass 180, I'll switch that to standard, and then that will be good to go for the rest of the flight until we start descending. And then we should get updated altimeter readings the rest of the way. thought I moved the time enough. No, okay, okay, I think we got enough time. Alright, I gotta switch that to standard. Yeah, I was kind of surprised, Chris. I was not expecting that, although I've been getting warnings that winter-like weather was on its way. But yeah, so we got a little dusting. But that's okay. It happens. Usually that's what we'll get, we'll get a little bit of it for a while, and then we'll start getting a couple inches here or there. I'm more concerned when we get into getting feet of snow than inches, because they're never prepared for if we start getting more than a foot or two of snow. Like there's just no place to put it. And if you plow the streets, then the sidewalks are pretty much unusable, because you have a mountain of snow by the street, so it's very dangerous. Quite a lot of cloud cover. We got low clouds, we got high clouds. Little bump. Got the sun peeking through the clouds still, but not a thick cloud cover, not like we're flying into a storm or anything. See, look at the, yeah, usually, well, this area, this is what I've been told since I've been living here. This area is due to get hit hard in the winter. They just don't know when, but everybody who's lived here says at least one winter out of many, the area will get just slammed with snow. Now, how bad that is, I don't know. I mean, they couldn't handle 4.5 feet of snow earlier this year. Like, it took them days to dig, to clear the roads. Now, they tried to keep the road out here where I live clear, because that's the way to the hospital. But even after a while, they gave up because it was just snowing so much they couldn't plow the street fast enough. They couldn't drop the salt fast enough to help melt the snow and the ice. So I don't know what's going to happen this year. Only time will tell. But everybody said we're going to get hit, and when we do, we're going to get hit hard. So if they can't handle 4.5 feet of snow, if we get anything more than that, I think pretty much we're going to be screwed. But we'll see. Especially the more elderly people who live by themselves in their homes, they don't have any way of getting out. So hopefully either they have family that they can go to in the meantime, or somewhere. But yeah, it's really difficult. Still making our way to 260. We're almost there. And I think we'll get one more. We should go up to about 34,000. And we'll cruise at 34 most of the way, and then we'll start our descent into Birmingham. Yeah, dusting I can handle it. I do have some like winter boots that keep my feet warm if I have to go outside. And I have fleece-lined pants to keep my legs warm. There we go.
Climb and maintain flight level 360 World Air 2377.
There it is. We've got our cruising altitude. Get above the clouds here, hopefully. Looks like we will. Where's the sun at? I lost the sun. Should be somewhere over. Well, maybe we'll see it once we get above the clouds here. Oh, morning, Mick. How are you? You're in the gaming room, the man cave, as you like to call it. Welcome. You haven't missed anything. It's been pretty uneventful so far. We had a nice takeoff. We're headed to 360.
Contact Indianapolis Center on 128.075. Good day.
Going to 128.075 World Air 2377. Indianapolis Center World Air 2377 is at flight level 280, climbing flight level 360.
World Air 2377 Indianapolis Center, continue to SINKR as planned.
Continue to sinker. Okay, that's the one after the one we're headed towards right now. That's there. That's just outside the range. Oops. There we go. Well, no, that is... Oh, okay. It just updated. So sinker is right in front of us. Sinker, sinker, sinker. Hardly even knew her. Quite a bit of flying to go. Flying sideways here. Kinda. Hello, Amela. How are you? Welcome. Guessing you're here for a moment while you get ready to go to work. Nice to see you all here. Greatly appreciate it. Slowly making our way to 36,000 feet. Flight level 360 in aviation jargon. Seems like we're taking our time climbing. I don't know if it's because of the wind. That's okay. We're not getting harassed about climbing quicker or expediting or anything. Right, there's the sun still up, peeking through the clouds there. Oh, no, flying from Detroit to Birmingham, Alabama, the flight that I took a few weeks ago. So, yeah, landing in Birmingham from Detroit. So kind of just mirroring the flight, although I don't have the exact jet that I took. We don't have those in the Xbox version just yet, or who knows if we're going to get them. A lot of people said that you can forget about getting a lot of new aircraft that have been released in the on the PC. Microsoft is not concerned about the consoles and all that. I don't know if that's just, you know, rhetoric or if that's the truth. Only time will tell.
World Air 2377, contact Indianapolis Center on 135.125. Good day.
135.125 World Air 2377. Indianapolis Center World Air 2377 is passing flight level 310, climbing flight level 360.
World Air 2377
We might get above these clouds
Indianapolis
eventually.
Center. Continue as planned.
Not that it's not cool flying through this very thin cloud layer. I thought pretty soon we would have been above it, but we are taking our time getting to 360. Maybe if I add a little bit more oomph. Give it a little bit more juice. Oh, it is. It's like it's kind of stalled out. It's like it's having a tough time climbing. It's like we just cannot punch through and get up to 36,000 feet. See, it's slowly climbing. There we go. No, it hasn't in a while. What bugged yesterday for me when I was flying to Charlotte was the ATC. Now I've turned off live ATC for the time being because we were starting to descend. ATC said, "Do you see this traffic?" And then right after that said, "Go to this new frequency." Copilot acknowledged that we saw the traffic, frequency never changed, and all that. I think what's happening with the autopilot is if you don't have, I think a couple things, and I helped Mick with this one as well. If you don't have a departure from the airport, that doesn't help if you're going to use autopilot, because you want that kind of a ability to get off the runway, get going in the air, raise your gear up and all that, and then engage the autopilot, because within that amount of time the autopilot should engage. Also, if you don't have your climb and maintain altitude already dialed in, it's not going to do anything for you. So it may be, I would check all those, and, you know, make sure you have a departure from the airport. if at all possible. So that gives you that kind of like that straight out kind of thing. Oh no, Mick. Oh no. That sucks. That sucks. So now you got to wait for a new one to be issued and all that. Ugh. Alright, so it's automatically changed over to the Mach setting for us, so we're going to dial in 7.5. So now we should zip up to, there we go. Zipping right along here. So yeah, I would check all that stuff, Amela, because I did, you know, once I started flying these, that's how, you know, there's a departure direction from the airport, and you try to make it where it's the smoothest departure possible, so you have a straight out, and either you turn or left or right, or, you know, you keep going straight for a while. What do you mean, wow? What did you wow for, Mella? I don't quite understand. What did I miss? I'm not sure what the wow was for. Well, I got 4 viewers here, 3 over on Twitch. Welcome, everybody. Do leave a thumbs up if you haven't already in the YouTube. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, that's the main. That was one of the things I was missing early on, and it just it's kind of like a bit of muscle memory to do it. So that's why I don't want my autopilot or my co-pilot talking to ATC just yet, because sometimes they may miss that information, the bug. Oh, I mean, I think that's the only thing that it could be. I don't know, but it's not bugged for me. It's been working just fine. So I think it's just a matter of making sure you have a departure and all that. So, thank you, Mick. Greatly appreciate it. Good, kind sir. Yeah, I don't know. But it's worked for me. I think there's some planes that the autopilot is bugged. You know, like I tried the Boeings, and it's a way different system than the A320. I just need to commit the time to getting more comfortable with it, and all that. So I would just double check all your flight planning and make sure that you have a departure. I think that's the key. That departure gives you that, the way I think about it, it gives you that moment to get everything kind of going. You know, you should, before you leave the ground, you should already have your altitude dialed in, your altimeter readings dialed in. You know, everything should be pretty much set. And that way, once you get airborne enough, you can hit the autopilot. You know, here it is right here. And I turn on the flight director as well, although I don't really know what that entails. What does that do for us? But I turn it on anyway, just because. I think we can turn off the seatbelt sign now that we're kind of in clean air. We can begin the cabin service. So yeah, I would just check all that, Carmela. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's fine. I don't know if Mick's going to be fine with the credit card. Oh, boy. But yeah, I would check all that. Okay, you're on the mod account because you got
World Air
premium.
2377, contact Indianapolis Center on 124.775. Good day.
We're almost at 36,000 feet.
124
Took a while to get there.
775 World Air
Hey, we're finally above the
2377.
clouds. Look at that.
Indianapolis Center World Air 2377 flight level 360.
Oh, there's the moon.
World Air 2377, Indianapolis Center, continue as planned.
So there we are, kind of flying sideways on the flight path. We're flying straight but sideways. How that works, I have no idea. I'm not an aeronautical engineer, so I couldn't even begin to explain how the system works. But I think it's quite amazing that they're able to do this. So yeah, that's the only thing I could suggest, Amela. Double check all that stuff and see if that's where it's happening. I just like it because it gives me that time to get the gear raised up and then flip the switch, because I'll keep the flaps. Now, one of the things I noticed, and I don't know if this is true for all aircraft, but I kind of estimated, because you have the flaps for takeoff position, right? It didn't seem like they put the flaps back into, flight where they're at right now until about a minute into the flight. I kind of estimated it. Now, I kind of counted to myself, so it was about a minute, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, before they raised the flaps from takeoff position. So I think that kind of helps with the initial climb out. I've noticed that once I get the nose up with the flaps down in takeoff, it keeps the plane kind of stable for the most part, and that gives me time to hit all the switches I need to hit. And then, of course, in this one you gotta move the throttle to the climb position. The auto throttle engages. The systems kind of take over once you get it set up correctly, and that's the beauty of this. The pilot can just kind of sit back. All they got to do is dial in altitudes, speed. You don't have to worry about the barometric pressure at this altitude, so you're fine. You're just monitoring the systems. Just changing frequencies. That's the only other thing. So I mean, it's pretty much like it's fairly straightforward. But when it's working, it's like the most amazing thing. But when it's failing, it can be very frustrating. So, but when it works, you're just like, man, this is awesome. You're just letting the plane fly itself, which is technically what all the planes do nowadays. You put in your flight plan into the system here, and you're good to go. The only thing that may change is if you request. If you request a different altitude, or because sometimes if the weather's really bad, like when I flew from Newark, or from New Jersey, the Liberty Airport or whatever it's called, to Syracuse, the pilot asked to go to a higher altitude, and ATC said, nope, you're stuck right where you are, deal with it. If we got maybe a little bit higher, we might have found some clean air and made the ride a little bit smoother, and poor lady behind me probably wouldn't have gotten sick all over herself. But if ATC says no, then it's no. You can't break the rules technically. I mean, you can try, but you're probably going to get a very stern talking to once you get on the ground. And your airline company is probably going to be pissed. The FAA is certainly going to be pissed. So yeah, you're going to have a lot to answer for. But if they call and say, can we go you know, here, if they say no, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, it's it can be pretty difficult. You know, you want to make the ride as smooth as possible for the passengers, of course, but there's not much you can do. You know? And all the flights, the only one that was a bit bumpier than I expected was my return flight to Binghamton. That was a little bit. We didn't hit a lot of bad stuff, but just those bumps that kind of unsettle you. Yeah, that was. I didn't like that. I was so ready to tell the stewardess, the flight attendant, the flight attendant to sit down, because it's like, lady, I'm sorry, but you're causing this. Just sit down. Nobody needs anything. Just sit down. Now, the worst flight, commercial flight that I was on, this was a long time ago. When I was visiting, I don't remember how old I was. Might have been a teenager. I don't remember. But we took off from Huntsville to Birmingham. You only go up a couple thousand feet, right? And you're right in the most turbulent air. And they follow the highway from Huntsville all the way down to Birmingham. And we're all over the place. And we hit one of those air pockets where the plane went down and then back up, and my stomach was like, I'm not having it. I made it through the flight. I didn't get sick, but I was so miserable. We couldn't get on the ground fast enough. I wanted to go to the restroom. I got up out of my seat, and the flight attendants were all strapped into the back seats there along the bulkhead, and they all said in unison, sit down. So I got back in my seat, and that was it. I was just like, somehow I made it through without getting sick, but it was terrible. So yeah, that was, in my memory, that was probably the worst flight I've ever been on, because they don't go up very high, because it's a very short takeoff and landing, so they don't go above a few thousand feet. And I don't even remember what kind of jet we flew in. It was some little one of those regional jets, kind of like what I flew down here to Birmingham. Pardon me real quick, I gotta blow my nose. Oh, I am so tired of the sinus congestion. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, so it was just, I don't know if it was a McDonnell Douglas plane. It was some little rinky-dink jet. I don't remember, but yeah, it was just like up and down, and it was the worst. I feel that way. I never have a good flight going into Atlanta. I don't know what it is about the approach that they picked, but it is turbulent as hell. They always pick that approach. Anytime I've ever flown into Atlanta, it's the worst. So I try to avoid that airport as much as possible. Well, no, I don't think so. I mean, of course you can't predict the weather. You know, I think they try to find clean air, a smooth ride, because it generally it makes, you know, flight go a lot better, and the passengers are happy. They kind of relax. I always get tense when we start hitting those bumps, and it doesn't like this. It's just like, I can understand like a few bumps. I can accept that. That's the one in front of us there. You know, like a few bumps, I'm like, okay, that's just normal, no matter where you're at, where you're flying at. But when it's just there's a few bumps and then it starts to get really bad, I immediately could be sitting with my feet kind of relaxed, like I might have my legs crossed or whatever. As soon as we hit turbulence, I plant both feet right on the floor. I don't know why I do that. It's just like, I feel like that's just one of those things. I don't know why I do it, but I do it. It's like a habit I've developed, and I don't know why. But I immediately tense up. I grip the seats. You could probably say my knuckles turn white after a while. Like that flight, when going from Newark to Syracuse, my feet were on the floor the entire time. My hands were clenched to the armrests, and I just kept saying, I kept praying almost, find clean air, please let us find clean air. And it just, yeah. So I know most of the pilots, it seems most of the flights I've been on, if it starts to get really bad, they try to climb a little bit more, they turn one way or the other, they try to find a way around it. But if they can't, that's when you know, like right now, if we started hitting really bad air, that's when you turn on the seatbelt sign and everybody get back to your seats. And if it gets really bad, the flight attendants even sit down. You know it's bad when the flight attendants sit down. Pretty soon we should start our descent into Birmingham. Probably one more marker after this, we should start seeing our first descents. So yeah, it's yeah, I don't like it. I can't stand it. And of course, when I flew not as a flight medic, but just what they call back wall medic, meaning you're assisting the flight medic. When I was at National Training Center and I got the opportunity to fly, and I was like, yes, I get to do it finally. And the Black Hawk pilots, they fly those helicopters like they're sports cars. They want to go zipping everywhere. They want to take every dip, and it's like a roller coaster ride for them. And it's fun if you're prepared for it, but if you're not, it is miserable. And they know, if they find out that you have not flown before in a helicopter or something, they will do everything they can to make you sick. It's like this it's something they like to do, but they will turn quickly. They'll all over the place. They'll do an auto rotor, or they'll, where you kind of drop, like the engines shut off or something, or I don't remember what the term was, an auto rotate, something like that. And they did it when we were flying in Iraq. They did it on purpose. We do it with zoop, zoop, down and back up. They know all the tricks to do to cause people to get ill. And yeah, they know. So yeah, it's because before we deployed, we did training with the medevac company. I was at Stewart. The medevac crew came over from Hunter, and we got to train all day with them, and basically loading and unloading patients and all that. That we got to fly around a little bit. They took off and went around this kind of loop, and you're sitting back there, and they're turning kind of like they're yeah. So fly with them. No, they just like doing it just to, because they can, it's just one of those things that they like to do. And you can ask, like, can we not do this? And no, because to them they're also training in a way that's how they would fly probably in a real world situation, in a combat zone. Essentially, they might be zipping around if there's fire and all that. So they take every opportunity to train as they would normally fly. So, which makes sense in a way. But I think they get a chuckle out of it. And of course, they don't care, because the crew chief and the ground crew are going to be the ones cleaning out the back of the helicopter, you know, so they don't care. All right, let's see where we are at. Okay, there's our first marker. That's about 25,000. But we can ask for 26. We'll wait a little bit because that's still pretty far off. We'll get a little bit closer and we'll get down to, we'll ask for a descent to 26. Which, you know, you just have to be prepared for it. You know, that's the key, because when I was flying with them at National Training Center, because I got sick, we were doing a mass cal exercise, and, you know, I was supposed to hand patients off and then get back on the helicopter. I took 2 steps off the helicopter and lost it. And the quote unquote patients were like, "Hey, are you okay?" I said, "Just go. I'll get over there in a minute." I had to, you know, basically get sick and then run over there and talk to them. And so when I got back onto the headset system, they were like, "Have you not flown before? Do you not know all the tricks?" I said, "No, this is my first time, really." And they were like, "Oh, okay. Well, you know, if, you know, we're going to keep flying, but if you feel sick and we don't have anything going on, we'll find a place to sit down," you know. So I was like, okay. But they did feel kind of bad, I think. But at the same time, they were probably like, "Who is this guy? What's going on with him?" You know. But yeah, so I liked it though. It was fun. It's a neat experience because it is like a roller coaster ride. And you know, if you're okay with that kind of flying, it'll be the best experience ever. Like you will laugh and have a good time. But if that's not your thing, if you know you get sick on roller coasters, flying in a Black Hawk is definitely not for you. I can attest to that. Oh, we're gonna have a nice sunset landing here. Looks like we got it just about right this time compared to yesterday. Well, yesterday was just, I don't know what it was about yesterday, but it was overall, I just rather forget yesterday happened. But anyway, so I don't mind flying. I never do well in any kind of turbulence. Like, I start getting a little bit nervous when there's a few bumps here or there, but I have to tell myself that's normal and just deal with it. But when it becomes more than that, that's when I'm just like, oh crap, this is not going to end well. And I think I kind of get overly dramatic in my mind about it, and that's not good. You know, like I automatically catastrophize the flight from there on, like the plane's gonna fall apart or whatever. I don't say that to anybody, of course, because I don't want any. I just think in my mind, oh, this is it. The wings are gonna shear off, the engines are gonna shut down, and all hell's gonna break loose. But that it doesn't happen. You know, we get through it, but it's, you know, you just think at any moment the wind is going, you get that one gust of wind that really upsets the plane. You know, it's tough.
2377, contact Memphis Center on 132.1.
Ooh, Memphis, Tennessee.
132.1 for World Air 2377. Memphis Center, World Air 2377, flight level 360.
See how quiet it is on the radio? We can talk. And the only thing I have to worry about is ATC talking to me. I've shut off the live ATC. Shut it off. I don't trust it. So now we've got a nice quiet flight. We can enjoy. Look at this. Got the nice sun going down across the clouds there. Got some nice color in the sky. Look at that. Of course, if you look over here, darkness is coming. Yeah, look at that. Sorry about that. I was trying to mute myself before I coughed in your ear. I apologize. So yeah, that's well, that's the other thing too. The flight medics, you know, you fly, you go on, you have your flight hours, because every air crew has to log so many flight hours, you know, to maintain their, you know, maintain their flight status, because they get paid extra to fly. You have flight pay, and that's why a lot of flight medics love it. They try to get over there specifically because you get flight pay no matter where you are, and then if you're on deployment, you get what they call combat pay, which is an additional amount of money. So yeah, they're making off, like, you know, really good. So yeah, but they fly regularly. The only time they won't fly, I think, is if the weather's, like, if there's a hurricane coming or whatever, you know, they'll be like, yeah, no, that's just too unsafe. You know, severe weather, they won't risk it because it's not worth it. But generally, yeah, there was flying all the time when I was at Hunter. It was, you know, Black Hawks, the Chinooks, the Apaches. Anytime, you know, they love it. Anytime they can fly, they'll do it. Even if it's like some silly training exercise or I'm going to ask for a reduction by 10,000 here.
Memphis Center, World Air 2377. Request flight level 260.
World Air 2377 descend and maintain flight level 260.
Descend and maintain flight level 260, World Air 2377.
There we go. And once we get down there, we'll go back to knots. We'll come out of the Mach speed. All right, take care, Mela. Be safe. Enjoy your day. We'll see you later. But yeah, they fly as often as they can. Any opportunity, they'll take it, because that's just logging hours for them. But yeah, if you are not used to flying and you get the opportunity, yeah, it can be fun, but it could also be a bit miserable, because you'll be like, well, no, this is so. Oh yeah, I picked this. I think I did this just about right. So it's probably going to be a little bit dark by the time we land at Birmingham, but so yeah. Wow, we are nose way down. That was a surprise. We didn't have to get all the way to 26 real quickly. Now the approach I picked, I think, is the one that I flew in on when we landed at Birmingham. I thought, now the pilot, I think, hand flew it in. I don't think they use the ILS approach, because it seemed like we turned way late to line up. And the way I figured it seemed like the pilot was a former Navy pilot who's used to that, turning in to line up for the aircraft carrier. But my dad said no, most of the guys that fly in and out of there are all former Air Force pilots. Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but I just kind of felt like they were but it was a neat approach. You know, I tried to pick out things. Of course, it was dark when we landed, so it was hard to see some of the areas I remember, you know, like where the highway was and all that. I try to do that. Alright. Complexity, you are going to get blocked. And then once I am done, I'm going to report you for that, because I don't need you doing that in my chat. So if I could delete it, I would. Oh, and then you messaged me too. Okay, well, now that's spamming me. So, yeah, you'll be dealt with. I'll let Twitch deal with you. All right, we are going way too fast here. We gotta get down. $270. I think that's a reasonable speed here. Man, look at that sunset, though. That's the one thing I like about the live weather. We get the clouds and everything. And, yeah, it's a much... makes things a little bit more dramatic, I think. In a good way. You know? Anytime anybody does that in my Twitch chat, you're going to get reported. You're going to get blocked, and I'll keep doing it. You can create as many accounts as you want, but you're going to get reported. I'm not having it. So tomorrow we're flying from Jakarta to Surabaya in the A320. That is going to be earlier than usual. So tomorrow it'll be 10 a.m. UK time. That's 5 a.m. my time. So an hour and a half early. No, that's okay, Chris. I got it. I'll deal with them. I'll report them. I don't mind doing it because, you know, generally they're all bot accounts, and they get deleted. I'll let Twitch sort them out. I'm not having it. So, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Jakarta to Surabaya tomorrow, and then Thursday. I still haven't come up with something for Thursday. I will soon.
Air 2377, contact Memphis Center on 126.75. Good day.
126.75 for World Air 2377. Memphis Center, World Air 2377, flight level 260.
Murfreesboro Municipal.
Memphis Center, continue to Sierra Yankee India as planned.
That should be the one right in front of us. Yep. There we go. We got one more after that. So once we get past this one, then we should have another reduction in altitude. Oh, thank you, Mick. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's I even if they're not a bot account, I think they ought to be. They're spamming, because this person sent 2 messages to me directly and then put it in the chat. So I consider that spamming. There was no reason for that. So, you know, I don't think you deserve to have an account if that's all you do. You know, if you want to come in and say hi, come in and say hi. That's fine. Or if you just want to watch, that's fine. It's all good. Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be just after dark when we land here in Birmingham. I was hoping to make it be a little bit closer, but that's okay. It'll make for a nice evening approach into Birmingham. Versailles Aerodrome. That's interesting. A lot of small airports here. I'm noticing. Long Meadow Airstrip. Oh. Cedar Glade Aerodrome. Yeah, a lot of small airfields here. I wonder if a lot of it's farming airfields for crop dusting. Or is this a small regional airport? Yeah, that's what I thought, Mick. It's a bot account. Twitch will sort it out. Generally, whenever I file a report against somebody, they I get an email that they've received the complaint and that they're looking into it, and if they usually within an hour or two, I get a report back saying, yep, we've taken action, thanks for the report, and all that. So yeah, they do, I think they take that stuff pretty seriously. So that's the one thing I do like about Twitch. But I hate that people have set up those accounts for that. That's not, they think they're being funny or whatever, or I know they're trying to make a quick buck, because the more traffic they can generate to their site, the more it's a business thing for them, and I get that, but you're also being predatory, I think, and also because somebody young is going to buy into that, and they're going to spend money on something they don't need to be spending money on. All right, let's get past here, and then we'll dial in our next altitude once we go past. Yeah, we'll start descending even more. Ooh, I need to put on the turn these off. Not that I never worry about the ice. So 3,000 feet. Let's go. Excuse me.
Memphis Center, World Air 2377. Request flight level 230.
World Air 2377 descend and maintain flight level 230.
Descend and maintain flight level 230, World Air 2377.
Alright, well, here we go, folks. Starter descent into Birmingham. Please get back in your seats, sit down, and be quiet. No, I couldn't imagine. Oh, could you imagine if a pilot got on the system there and told people that? Oh, be an uproar. Alright, so let's go 21.
World Air 2377, contact Memphis Center on 120.8. Good day.
Matter of fact, we might as well just go to
120.8
18.
for
So
World Air 2377. Memphis Center World Air 2377 is at flight level 230, descending flight level 230. World Air 2377 Memphis Center, continue to west as planned.
let's get past this one and then we'll go from there. Because these markers are pretty close together. It seems like. Yeah. There's not much space between. So this is the one in front of us here, and there's another one. So we'll wait for the next one, and then we'll dial the or request the altitude reduction based on the next marker. Do appreciate everybody coming in today and leaving some thumbs up. Greatly appreciate that. Okay, so let's just go by 4,000.
Memphis Center World Air 2377. Request flight level 190. World Air 2377, descend and maintain flight level 190. Descend and maintain flight level 190, World Air 2377.
Let's start getting some speed dialed back just a smidge. Let's get down to 250 here. We're not in a race with anybody to prepare to land. Oh, Fayetteville Municipal. I could see the ILS approach there, the lights. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So the next one is not even wearing 19,000 yet, so I can't ask for another reduction just yet. So once we get past this one, I'll request another reduction. Oh yeah, that's going to be a nice evening landing here. We're still going. Huntsville, executive. Now there is I wish I could have gotten to see it while I was there, but they do have Huntsville was part of the space program. They do have a museum there that showcases that. I really would have liked to have seen it and taken some pictures, but we didn't have the time. And it's expensive. It's like $25 per person to go in. So, and they don't give like a veteran's discount either. I think you get one if you're active duty, but if you're a veteran or retired military, they don't give you a discount. Although you could always ask, they can always say no. But yeah, really would have liked to have seen that. All right, let's get the landing lights on. I like to be well lit as we descend. Alright, let's go down to 3,000 feet.
Memphis Center World Air 2377. Request 16,000 feet. World Air 2377, descend and maintain 16,000 feet. Descend and maintain 16,000 feet, World Air 2377.
So once we get past 18, I got to change this back to our barometric pressure, that the last reading that we got, which I think was 3011 or 3014, something like that. But we should start getting regular updates for the barometric pressure from the ATC. Oh, Redstone Army Airfield. I went by, not by the airfield, but the exit for Redstone when we were on our way to Huntsville. Alright, so I gotta switch this back. 3014. Switch this one also. Perfect. It did it automatically. Yay. So we should get all of our directions from here on out from ATC. I think we are, let's just look ahead here. Well, there should be another marker ahead of us. Where did the marker go? Why aren't we seeing it yet? 40. Okay, there's the next one. Why isn't it showing up on the... Okay, that's Niji. Should be it right there, but it's still quite a bit of distance. But normally we see okay, there's Huntsville International. That's the one we flew out of. That follows the highway down to Birmingham. We should get our, anything else we should start, well, not just yet, but let's go to, I think we'll get 250. So yeah, we got this nice kind of curved in approach. The marker is not there. Maybe it'll pop in here shortly. I think. I mean, it's saying I'm at 40. That's at 80 miles. I'm going to feel better if we're at about 8,000 feet.
Memphis Center, World Air 2377. Request 8,000 feet.
World Air 2377, descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 8,000 feet, World Air 2377.
Alright, let's go ahead and slow down as well. That's odd that that marker isn't showing up, but I think if we're at 8,000 feet, we should be good to go.
World Air 2377, please expedite your descent 8,000 feet. World Air 2377, you are 54 miles north.
There we go.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 6 approach via Victor Uniform Zulu 29 radial 16 MER cleared to Victor Uniform Zulu.
Wow, that just popped up out of
present
nowhere.
heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 6 approach via Victor Uniform Zulu 29 radial 16 MER cleared to Victor Uniform Zulu World Air 2377.
All right, now we're getting. That's fine. We're still going to descend to 8,000. I think that's a pretty good thing. So, but we can't request to go any lower or anything. We'll get all of our altitudes now from approach. We can just kind of cruise down to 8,000 feet. That's fine. Wow, this is now. When I flew down, we got to Birmingham early, maybe because we didn't have some bumpy weather along the way. We had a really smooth flight. Matter of fact, I had to stop by the flight deck door, and the pilot and flight attendant. I said that was probably one of the smoothest flights I've been on in a long time, and they were like, "We'd like to hear that." So yeah, it was whichever way they chose, it was phenomenal. So we got in probably about 20 minutes early, I think, into Birmingham. There we go. Nice evening landing. Not completely pitch dark. We get a nice. I like this kind of flying right here. Like a bit of cloud cover just to add something different in the sky than the usual clear. No, that's not very realistic. We're gonna keep trying to fly in weather, and except for the tours, we won't do that. All right, so I should be able to zoom. There we go. We'll just go ahead and go all the way here. Oops, down to 10 nautical miles. Figured it'd be good just to put on the overhead lights. Not too bright. Alright, here we are at 8,000, almost. What does everybody think with this sunset cloud cover sort of time? I know we try to fly in the light because you guys get to see more. It's better defined than if we're flying.
Contact Atlanta Center on 134.05. Good day.
Wow.
134.05 for World Air 2377. Atlanta Center.
Oh, we were
World Air
talking to Memphis.
2377, 8,200 feet.
World Air 2377 Atlanta Center altimeter
3019. Wow.
Continue to Victor Uniform Zulu as planned. World Air 2377 climb and maintain flight level 200.
No,
Climb and
that's
maintain
just.
flight level 200 World Air 2377.
Why would I go to 20,000 feet? That's insane. No, no, we're gonna stay right here at 8,000. That's just insanity. No, we've already done our into our descent phase and lining up for our approach. That's no. There's no reason for that. We're gonna stay right here. Oh, good. Glad to hear it, guys. Thank you.
World Air 2377, please expedite your climb flight level 200.
I was hoping we wouldn't get these sort of crazy requests, because at some point, and I think probably once we get past this
World Air 2377, please expedite your climb flight level 200. World Air 2377, please expedite your climb flight level 200. World Air 2377, please expedite your climb flight level 200. 2377 descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. World Air 2377.
Oh my god, I must have pressed it and didn't even realize it. I'm sorry. I try to keep my hands away from it unless I'm coughing or something. I might have bumped it by accident. Anyway, we just had to wait them out, apparently. So we're all set. We got a good. We had a good plan. We followed it. Sometimes, I mean, to go from 16,000 to here, or 20,000 to 3,000 feet, that would have been highly unreasonable, I think. So, that's okay. It worked. Everything worked out according to plan. Yeah, either I coughed and muted and forgot, or I might have bumped it by accident and just didn't even realize it. So thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. All right, we are coming through low cloud cover. Airport is back there. Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, like I said, I might have did it when I coughed and I just forgot to. I don't know what my. It's like I got something in my throat that just does not want to. But I've been having a lot of sinus. My sinuses are all stuffed up, it feels like. Alright, there we go. There's that one. So I think we're okay. No, what was the... Oh, I thought there was something else. Guess not. You know me, I'd be trying to snap some pictures from my seat. If there was some color, something that would be dramatic even in black and white.
$2,500.
How can we be at 2,500? I haven't. Oh, you know what? I bet you.
2,500.
We haven't gotten. Maybe when I get on to approach, we should be talking to the tower. I mean, they should give us an updated altimeter reading. I think it's changed. Alright, I see our ILS lights off in the distance, so we're... Yeah, we came in... It seemed like we were way closer to the airport when we came in. I think that pilot flew it by hand in. A little bit of wind. So we're just going to follow these around, it seems, these little markers, which is fine. But we're lined up. We're good to go for this. Should be no issues whatsoever. Of course, if we don't get our ILS, if it doesn't take, we'll fly it in ourselves.
World Air 2377, contact Birmingham approach on 123
Alright, this is
decimal 8.
where...
Good day.
123.8 for World Air 2377. Birmingham approach World Air 2377, 3,000 feet.
World Air 2377, Birmingham approach altimeter
Aha!
30 decimal 22, continue as planned.
I was right. It had changed.
$2,500.
Ooh, we got some moonlight here. Just a little bit of color left in the sky over there.
$2,500.
There it is off in the distance. Well lit, as it was when I flew in. Seems just yesterday.
2,500.
World Air 2377 descend and maintain 2,600 feet.
Descend and maintain 2,600 feet. World Air 2377.
Alright, I think we can go ahead and dial this down to 140. Our last bit of flaps down. Now let's see if it's going to be a bit of a bumpy landing. Looks like we got a bit of wind, so this is going to make things really interesting.
World Air 2377, you are 12 miles southwest of Birmingham. Contact Birmingham Tower on 118.25 when inbound on the approach.
Let's see if we got an updated altimeter
Tower
reading.
on 118.25 World Air 2377. Birmingham Tower World Air 2377 12 miles southwest inbound ILS runway 6 approach.
World Air 2377 Birmingham Tower.
Nope,
Altimeter
hasn't changed.
30.52
Oh, look at that.
154 at 7.
Bam, we were already
Cleared ILS runway 6
lined
approach.
up.
Cleared ILS runway 6 approach. World Air 2377.
I don't think the tractor beam is locked in just yet. Should at any moment, I do believe. We got a little bit of 7-knot winds, but it feels like it's a lot more than 7 knots. More like 17. All right, now I think the tractor beams got us.
World Air 2377 wind 224 at 5. Cleared to land runway 6.
Cleared to land runway 6.
Oh,
World
look at
Air
that football stadium.
2377.
That's the University of Alabama's football stadium, I would believe. UAB. University of Alabama, Birmingham. We drove around the campus for University of Alabama, Birmingham. It is really nice. They've got all new new buildings. Not sure what that is.
500. 400. 400. 400. 300. 200.
One more.
100. 60. 50.
Ooh, boy. We are well off the runway here. Boy, come on. Settle down. Set down. Why did it suddenly... Oh, you know why?
20. Retire.
Ooh, boy. Ooh, boy. That was not a good landing. Oh, you know what? We damaged it. Wow.
Exit runway when able.
Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put down the landing gear. Oh, no, I didn't put down the landing gear. Oops-a-daisy. I did not put down the landing gear. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that.
World Air 2377.
Yeah.
Next taxiway.
Well, on behalf of myself and First Officer Chris, we'd like to welcome you to Birmingham, Alabama. Oh, I can't believe I forgot that. Oh. Yeah, that would be an emergency landing. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot that. Well, you know why? Because I turned
World Air
off
2377 exit runway when able.
the objectives. And I need to have that, I think, to remind me. Because I totally forgot. So I need to make sure that those are on to remind me. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and we'll just shut the engines off and... We didn't even get credit for a landing. Oh my goodness. Oh well. We got 9 minutes of night flying. So that helps out a little bit. But we didn't even get credit for the landing. Yeah. So I got to put those back on because I thought that was like an assist. And anyway, so that's going to be it for today, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow earlier. Just a quick reminder, 10 a.m. UK time, 5 a.m. my time, Jakarta to Surabaya, A320. This time we're going to nail the landing. I promise you, one way or the other. So take care. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I will see you all later. Peace. Live long and prosper.